Good evening and welcome to the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League. Round 9 takes us to Mugello and we are entering the final third of the latest edition of this particular series. I am Tom Cairns in the commentary position. Alongside me is Dean Biggles, who will be with me for the next hour and a bit. We'll be entering the last few minutes of qualifying, or we are entering the last few minutes of qualifying. And so far, it is Johan Annette, which is a new name to me personally, who is fastest of them all, ahead of Lee Aberdeen, who's got a few hundreds to make up to be back on pole position. The man, the championship leader, who has finished every single race in the top two, 4 wins and 4 second places to his name. Will he keep that run going here in Tuscany? Looking at the championship standings, Lee Aberdeen leading the way on 340 points, 28 clear over second place and reigning champion Tony Jimenez. In third position is Ludovic Ranson on 299, and is Kevin Strumstra in fourth place on 252. Then we've got the likes of Andy Flynn, Jimmy DeSantos, Bahidin Ayan, Brad Folliger, Julio Palacio and Adam Talsma running out the top 10. Even though there are 12 rounds, the best 10 scores count towards the championship. So 2 strong results here in Mugello, and next time out in Barcelona will pretty much wrap up the title for Lee Aberdeen once and for all. Tony Jimenez, the man second place in the championship, will have to surrender that crown. But let's see if he can keep it going. Let's bring Dean into the conversation to say hello. Dean, how are you, and what are you thinking tonight here in Mugello?
Well, qualifying is absolutely important, no doubt, because you want to get yourself at the front, especially for another stacked grid here that we have in iGPFun. And, Lee's only 35 thousandths of a second off our new name that you see on the top of the leaderboard. And we were working out in the green room before the show where that flag is. We can probably allow that one in the chat there, see if anybody can pick up where that flag is from. If you don't, well, we just found out before, didn't we, Tom?
Yes, and for those wondering, it is the flag of Quebec, which is a province in Canada. So it's not a national flag, it's a flag within a particular area of the country itself. To our understanding, at least, anyway.
Yes, sir. So the qualifying's still underway here for about 15 seconds, give or take, as Tony goes up into P11 now, pulls the car across the side there. Not enough time to get another qualifying lap in. Don't think so anyway. A few other times tumbling down there, but that's a mega lap there. That's 36.198. We got some new little graphics as well too. You'll see on the side of the timing tower, you'll come up every occasionally there. You might see a little yellow flag next to the driver's name. That indicates that they've got a slowdown. Black flag will indicate a black flag, a meatball flag will indicate a meatball flag, and if it's like a black flag with a cross in between it, that's unfortunately the one that you don't want to get, which is you've been disconnected from the session.
Checker flag is out, but drivers are coming around to complete their final laps. Patrick Rowlands is on a fast time. He's not set a time yet in this session, but he's going down the pit straight now. Is Rowlands, who will be wanting to at least maybe get himself around about where the top 20 is at. Well, he's heading over the line now at the 33 drivers. It's only 32nd place there, 142.5, a long way off the pace. Scott Haddock is another one of those who hasn't set a lap time and he won't do because he's in pit lane. We ride on board with Lee Aberdeen coming out of the hairpin of turn 12 through the chicane of 13 and 14, otherwise known as Biondetti, and it'll be the last corner, turn 15 of Bachin. There's a car ahead of him, which he may be able to get the benefit of the tow all the way down the pit straight. Lee Aberdeen is not on a faster lap time compared to what he'd already done, so he's back into pit lane. And we're looking at Kai. So that's not Kai, that is Brent Ruiz we're looking at, who's going through turns 2 and 3. He's already taken the checker flag, so we could go to Kai Surumi, who's heading over the line himself. And he is only 29th fastest there. That last lap he did was his personal best, but it wasn't enough to move him up the order.
That should be Adam now to come up and park it into pit road there. Tony Jimenez is out there as well, but I think, yep, he's coming down. He might get a chance to finish this lap. Oh, he will park.
You've already taken the checker flag.
That's right. Well, did you see that as well too? Johan Annette also set the fastest lap just before that, a concrete and seal the deal in to that pole position.
And so he has, and it's a pole position going in the way of Johan Annette. Will he be able to convert that into the victory? Well, Lee Aberdeen will make sure that that isn't the case. And it's Brent Ruiz and Andy Flynn in 3rd and 4th, Brod Fulliger and Stefan Dodderer are 5th and 6th, and it's Robert Ridgway and Alexei Yukis on row number 4. Kevin Strunstra and Mehmet Taski rounding up the top 10. Then it's 2nd place in the championship, Tony Jimenez in 11th place ahead of Denny Cornu. And it's Jimmy DeSantos and Simon Bessie on row 7. Bahidin Iron and Scott Taylor are on row 8, followed by Kuchi Ito and Richard Van Veen on the 9th row. And it's Simone Gabrielle and Justin Fields in 19th and 20th, and it's John McKenzie and Julio Plesio in 21st and 22nd. Clark Williams and Paul Distelli on row 12. Eddie Amos and Nathan Rosso on row number 13, followed by Matthew Gracie and Adam Telsmer on row 14. Koisarami and Dorian Arroyo round up the top 30, and it's Ben Goyette, Patrick Rowlands and Scott Haddock, who didn't set a time in qualifying. He starts at the back.
Drivers are going to be all lining up. Last time they get to have a stretch, have a hydration. I don't think you're going to have too much time to take your hand off the steering wheel around here to get your drink bottle out and stuff like that. So we'll have to see how it's going to pan out. What do you reckon? Turn 1 shenanigans?
Probably not, because drivers are informed that they cannot actively overtake until after turn 3 on the first lap. So I'm not expecting too many dramas. It's mainly after turn 3 where we could expect the dramas to take place. The majority of the drivers are coming onto the grid now. They are limited in terms of the amount of time they have in between sessions to set up their cars. I think we're a maximum of 15 seconds away before the red lights come on. Who do you think will take? Who do you think will take victory quickly, Dean?
I'd have to. Johan's looking pretty strong here at the moment, so that's one. But League's got everything. Remembering the championship to fight for here, so don't count him out. But he's also got a lot to lose here. So will he risk it for the biscuit that much and getting in a tangle to try to steal the lead?
Lights are coming on now with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Mugello. Good start from Annette. The same for Aberdeen. Watch out for Brent Ruiz in 3rd position, who's coming to his right-hand side, although Aberdeen is more than the cars length ahead before they get to San Donato corner. And it's Annette who leads the way, and it's Aberdeen and Ruiz. No active overtakes expected until after turn 3. That is part of the briefing that these drivers had before they went on circuit. And now they can start overtaking from here on in. Annette leads the way ahead of Aberdeen. It's Brent Ruiz and Andy Flynn in 4th place. It's Brad Fulliger maintaining his 5th position. It doesn't feel to me that we've had anyone stopping on circuit after that, although someone has just started from the pit lane. I believe that'll be Paul Distelli, who has got away at last. And so far the drivers are behaving themselves throughout this first lap.
That's exactly what we wanted, perfectly. There will be a bit of kitty litter kicked up on the track too, as there's a nice little squabble there for the mid-pack there, and Simon Fessy as well too, and Santos. But we've got the battle of the Dutchies as well too, right here side by side at the moment. That's Stefan Doria and Kevin Swanson. Ooh, almost got off the back of it.
That's Dodderer coming up behind Strumpscher in the battle for 8th position, making their way through turn number 12, otherwise known as Corintau. And it's the chicane of 13 and 14 that is beyond Detti that they are circulating through. And then it's the on camber or off camber hairpin of Bachin. And that the pair of them coming together. That is Dodderer and Strunstra colliding. And Strunstra's rear wing is gone, and that'll be him into the pit lane. And that could well seal it for him from this race. And I think Dodderer may have some explaining to do. Meanwhile, Brent Ruiz goes in front of Lee Aberdeen, but for how long? Because Aberdeen will have the inside line for San Donato, but Ruiz has got the move done and into 2nd position. That was a nice overtake, making the most of the slipstream all the way down that pit straight, and that could be the emphasis of how this evening's racing is going to pan out, Dean.
Yeah, that's what I think as well too. Is Simon Fessy is struggling at the moment here to stay in that position where he started this race at P14. A lot of battles going on, as I said, for the midfield. It's quite spicy. You can throw a blanket over right here at the moment, but we're going to go back up to Brad and Andy Maverick Flint. Slow down for Brett Runes. You can see there's that yellow flag that comes up there. Will it affect him? Where do you get the slow down? How much? Not too much, you would imagine at this point, because Lee is half a second behind him. I'm just wondering if the Aussie. Oh, we got Stefan around somewhere. Oh, that's maybe perhaps a disconnection. Something's happened there. But I'm just wondering if Lee's going to play a little bit safe here, realising he's leading the championship and he's got a lot to lose here, so he's not putting up that much of a fight just yet.
Well, his rival, Tierney Jimenez, is in 8th position. He's going after Alexei Yukish. And they are close to finishing the second lap of this one. There we see Jimmy DeSantos going through at Biondetti corner. Tossing it out with Bahidin Ayan. And look who's coming through. Simon Fessi coming through the pair of them before even getting to Bachin. Fessi's through on Ayan. Is he through on DeSantos? You can see all the leftover gravel from lap 1, which won't help DeSantos. And it should be easy picking for Simon Fessi to make his way past. But what about Bahidin Ayan? Is he going to go through? Oh, he's got up stuck. That's off track. That would be track limit, surely. I thought that might have been track limits, but
believe it or not. Wow. Oof.
I'm amazed that he hadn't been given a slowdown for that. But Ayan has got through on DeSantos. Fessi's waiting in the wings in case these two come together. DeSantos loses it, or Ayan, sorry, but he's punted DeSantos off and into the barrier.
Well, you inevitably knew that was going to happen. Is it 3 wide around here? It's not. I mean, it's not going to work at some point. Something's going to happen. Something's going off track, and something's going to the fence, and that's exactly what happened to DeSantos. So that's unfortunate, but that's two wheel-to-wheel racing a little bit too early, and these cars are very, very fragile too. You just slightly touch a wheel there, you can go up, and I'm surprised you didn't go airborne.
Yeah, it's very easy to lose it with these cars as well. That's how fragile they really are, and very... would nimble be the right word to put it, because of how easy it is to really drop these cars when you make a mistake or if you collide with someone. I'm looking at Matthew Gracie in 23rd position on the tail of Eddie Amos. There was another overtake going on further back. I couldn't quite see who that was that made an overtake. It's Scott Haddock, who is coming through the field nicely from the back actually, so this is a respectable drive from Scott. Akuchi Ito running in 18th position. He's on the tail of that's Nathan Rosso ahead of him, who is going to give the toe to the Japanese down the pit straight. And I would imagine Ito is going to find his way passing into 17th spot. And behind Ito will be Clark Williams. Now, Clark Williams has been on the wrong end of incidents historically this season. We're hoping to keep his nose clean this time around, and that was Rosso going too deep. Ito to the outside at turns 2 and 3. The door is shut, and Ito will have to hold back for the time being.
That's good racing there. That's not risking it there for the 3 wide. Just take the 2 wide there. There's enough space on this tractor to go some good wheel-to-wheel racing. But just, don't put your nose out there, otherwise it'll get chopped off like a Kim Kardashian classic surgeon. At the moment, our leader, Anetti, is just up. He's checked out, hasn't he? I mean, he is 2.4 seconds up the road there from Bruns and looking strong in this race.
He's absolutely flying, Johan Annette, in the lead by over 2.5 seconds. We're only on lap 4. I just hope he hasn't taken too much life out of those tyres already. For your information, Kevin Strumstra did rejoin the race, and he's still on the lead lap. So we could well see a few overtakes from him between now and the end of the race.
Might be a slight little disconnection issue or something like that, because he just dropped off the leaderboard there. But thankfully, that's really using the track limits to its absolute.
That's Ito through at last on Rosso at Bachin. You can see from the helicopter angle. And there is Andy Flynn. We've just seen in the background someone coming out of the pits. I wonder if that was Stefan Dodderer coming out, or it'll be Jimmy DeSantos. We'll find out in a moment. It's Jimmy DeSantos rejoining the race, albeit a couple of laps down now, or a lap down on the leaders. Justin Fields running in 19th position. Going a little too deep, and has been passed by Clark Williams. And Fields trying to fight back, but Williams is having none of it at the moment. Coming out of turn number 3. This is a good dice for position, this, even though it is further down the field.
Yeah, well, it certainly is, and they are going to be battling it for 2 for now. Remember, points are very, very important at this point in the championship, so can't afford to make some mistakes. as we are all aware. Let's have a look at Simon, the Italiano, in number 25 car, currently running P15, put a bit of pressure there on Richard Van Ven.
43 points it is for a race win. It's a point difference for each position downwards from there. So 42 for second, 41 for third. Right all the way down. I mean, basically, if you finish, you score points.
But you want to be able to finish, isn't it? Unfortunately, not like Dos Santos, who unfortunately is second retirement there.
Yeah, well, he is still in the race at least. Stefan Dodderer, in terms of whether he is still in the race or not, he is not circulating around the circuit, so that's effectively his race done. Following the contact he had with Kevin Strumstra on the first lap. But Simone Gabriel is lining up a pass on Richard Van Veen for position. This is for 14th. And he seems to have gone through that. So a nice overtake there from Gabriel. Van Veen is about to lose another place, potentially, to John McKenzie, who is gunning for a strong result this season. Looking at how John McKenzie has been getting on this season, so far he hasn't competed in every single round, but his best result has been 14th in Portimao, and right now he's running in 16th position, looking quite strong actually to try and better his 14th place finish in Portimao. And Kai Surami, who has not competed in a lot of races this season, this is only his third race. He competed in Fuji, his home round, and he also competed last week at Road Atlanta. He finished 16th in Fuji, 27th at Road Atlanta.
Well, remember too that we got a lot of it's an international, very international league, so there's drivers from all over the globe. It does make it a little bit more difficult in competitive online iRacing leagues like this because of the fact that we're going to go back up to the front here as well too. Sorry, the mid pack, because it's still continuing here. But you got to remember too, there's a little bit of ping and packet losses and stuff like that occur. That's why sometimes we get a little bit of disconnection and blinking and stuff like that, because you know you've got drivers from New Zealand, Australia, you've got Japan here, you've got lots of Europeans, you've got the Americas, so it's tough. But you know, these drivers have been doing it all season long now. They get used to it, and just a little bit of space there that you kind of, as much as you can allow there to kind of counteract the fact that there's a little bit of net code that may come into play.
Yeah. Johanna Net has got a fan watching in, and if you do wish to be involved in the live chat, do please do so. If you have any questions or anything to share on the action, or you want to know more about this league, how it works and that, there's no mandatory pit stops in this particular championship. It's a straightforward sprint to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well in case you haven't already done so. You can keep up to date with everything that's happening on JP Broadcasting. Justin Fields on the tail of Clark Williams through Arabiata 2. He just about keeps hold of it there, but further ahead you can see Ito and Rosso having their own squabble for 17th position. Around the outside goes Rosso. Ito is to his right hand side, and Ito has gone past the Frenchman, and there's another position gain for him.
Yeah, making some gains. Well, back up actually where he started this race, P17. So fighting back through. This is where the hot zone is currently at the moment in this race, because not too much at front. It's as lively as right here.
Well, Fields is going through on Williams for 19th. And behind them, there's actually a few Americans in there. Julio Palacio, Scott Haddock and Matthew Gracie. And Palacio looks like he's going to take two in one go here, because he's gone darting through the middle of Williams and Fields before they get to San Donato.
Brilliant.
That's a great overtake there from Palacio. And it looks like Scott Haddock is going through at the same time.
Rosso's fighting back that position as well too. Oh, can get it.
He is back through his Rosso, now on Ito for 17th place. And they want to be getting up to the back of Richard Van Veen and co, who's another 5 seconds up the road from these. And Johan Annette's lead is 3.3 seconds over Brent Marie's in second place. And Leo Badin, who's not finished outside the top 2 all season, is in third place and within a second of the American ahead of him.
Mr. Consistent, that's what you got to call him. That's how you win championships, sir. You don't have to win every race. You just have to be consistently getting the most amount of points that you can maximise. And that's what he's done. He's played it, as I said, he's down one place from where he started this race. Didn't seem like he was put up a massive fight earlier on to defend that position, or even bring it to Johan leading this race. Because once again, I think he's thinking at this point to play it more safely in this championship, and you know, because at the end of the day, that big championship trophy, to say the driver's champion of the league, that's worth it more than a slight overtake or two, or losing a position.
Ridgway running in 6th position. We're looking back again in this long queue of cars, all for 17th place. Kyuchi Ito is the driver at the head of this, and now he's got Nathan Rosso tossing it out with him again at San Donato corner on lap number 9. 20 laps to go here in Mugello. Round 9 of the iGPFun
contact.
Light see that's contacts between Ito and Rosso, and that's the Japanese into the barrier.
Wow, it's some fantastic racing at the moment there, but inevitably they've having to come together. I'll show you the difficulty too of overtaking around here. How much you kind of really got to risk it for the biscuit.
Well, if we can look at the replay actually, because it might have been a slide from Rosso into turn 2 that had put Ito into the barrier. Now if you look on the onboard, maybe on it, does Ito cut across on him?
Yeah, well, very difficult, isn't it?
Let's see from this angle. Oh,
yeah, well, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say on that one, yeah.
And Kai's
it could be
also
6
had a
and a
moment
half.
too, coming out of the corner.
And he's put the car in the wall, and that's his race effectively done as well. So that's 2 Japanese drivers in the barriers.
It's unfortunate, isn't it? 2 Japanese drivers just like that in a space of basically the same lap, actually. We're going up to battle for, P6 and P7 for some reason. We also lost that telemetry.
Yeah, well, looking at Robert Ridgway and Alexei Yukish through Cairns corner. And now we're back on the pit straight, and it's Nathan Rosso ahead of Julio Palacio. And looking at Clark Williams, has now got what looks like Eddie Amos coming through in the middle there on both him and what looks like, is it Adam Telsman has just gone through? I think it might well have been. Or it might be, well no, Eddie Amos is back behind Clark Williams again. So I don't know, being in the middle of those 3 is the best spot to be at for a corner like San Donato.
Well, you can't miss the Tron-esque delivery, of course, of Eddie Amos. Up 3 from his current position in this race, trying to battle to see if he can get up 4 there, and Clark Williams up the road, as you mentioned. It's all been this midfield so far this race, but we will kind of go up a little bit because here's Dennis and Tasky, familiar names in this season here in iGPFun. Tony Jimenez just a little bit up the road from these 2, last season's champion.
Denny Cornu, part of the Unity Racing squad, who've been around in this championship for some time now. He's now on the rear of Mehmet Taski, entering the pit straight. You see a few green personal bests coming onto the board. Andy Flint and Robert Ridgway are 2 of them. And now we're looking at Cornu, who's heading through on Taski before San Donato corner. And it looks like he's going to go through around the outside of the Turkish driver, and he is through around the outside. That was a neat overtake from Denny Cornu, and that was coming all along really. And just the 2 retirements so far in this race. We've got Stefan Dodera out and Kyuchi Ito, who I believe might be rejoining the race actually. So just the 1 retirement, just to correct myself. Ito is back on the circuit.
Oh! Somebody off.
That's Justin Fields, I think, who's gone off the track, as has Julio Palacio. They've definitely come together, those 2. I don't know if someone else got involved in it. That's Fields going on the inside, probably catching too much speed, taking too much speed into the corner. And that damaged his left side pod, and it put Palacio likely into the barrier.
Oh yeah, just couldn't stop it. Just that's a late send, isn't it, from Justin?
Yeah. He's down the order, and that will affect the car's performance, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
And all of that has allowed Eddie Amos into 19th. Yep. So Eddie Amos is one of those respectable drivers within the field. He knows this championship very, very well, but he's not had the same level of success as the likes of Lee Aberdeen or Tony Jimenez. He's kind of like round about where he would normally be. It'd just be nice if he could maybe try and make up a few more positions and be on the fringes of the top 10. But Denny Cornu is running a 9th position ahead of Tusky and going after the man second place in the championship, Tony Jimenez.
Exactly, who needs every single point he could possibly get. Runs over the kitty litter, you can see that's flicked up. Another thing to look at as well too is that Brett at the moment is keeping our race leader at bay, because Annette is he did set the fastest lap on that last lap, but Brett's been kind of rebounding back on that one. I'm just wondering if it's going to come close to what you said about Johan using too much of those tyres early in this race or not. Oh, what a save there from Dennis. That's a snap that you get close to the Code Brown. That means Katasky's going to come back at this one.
Yep, and he's all over the place. He's Denny Cornu, and he's just about gets hold of the place. I don't know how he's managed to keep hold of that, because Tassia was alongside him on the exit of Arabi Alta 2, and he didn't take advantage of the open door that was ready for him. And now behind in Ayan, his compatriot is looming in behind. What is he going to make of it here? Is he going to maybe go through the middle of these two on the pit straight? It's proven that it's not the best route to go through. You want to be alongside the pair of them on the inside, really. But the outside would give you the inside for turn 2, if you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, exactly. How's that too? Two Turkish drivers together on track. We got a couple of American drivers up there, Andy and Robert Ridgway together on track. Scotty and Matthew together on track. The two Canadians together on track. So here we go. He's going to choose the middle.
No, he's going to the inside. This time is IM. He's backed out of it. Why didn't he go for it?
Oh, it might be.
Why didn't he go for it?
Oh, cuts back. Don't want to take your team out. I mean, your countryman out, my friend.
They are on the same team,
these
two, as well as compatriots. Yeah, they are part of what's called the Turkish iRacing Formula team. That's the pair of them remaining in 10th and 11th. Simon Fessi's the next driver behind. I would say that looking at the timing page, it's nearly 4 seconds now between Annette and Ruiz, and Aberdeen's continuing to drop back. More dust being kicked up further ahead. But so far, it's plain sailing for Annette, and Aberdeen in 3rd place having to really fight for it. I don't know how much, in terms of tyre life, he is saving. I mean, on the last lap, he did a 1:36.9, which is his personal best lap of the race. It's quicker than what Brent Maurice had done, and we've seen a replay of Alexei Yukish spinning into the gravel trap at Savelli.
Which will now put him under the clutches here at the moment of Tony we're on board with. So I think it was only a half a spin, so he managed to still continue to regain that P7 position. There you go, fastest lap. I think at the moment that the Johan's also responding to a late charge there from the American driver, Brett Roons. So he's, I'd have to say, playing with his food, isn't he? So come on, Brett. You slow down a little bit there, allow him to catch back up, and then just go, all right, I'm going to just set a fastest lap just to remind you I'm the quickest man on this track at the moment and in this race.
Jimenez right on the gearbox of Alexei Yukish. Out of turns 2 and 3. And further on, it's like a four-way battle between Cornu, Taski, Ayan, and Fessi. So we've got 2 Unity Racing drivers up against 2 Turkish-Irish Formula Team drivers. So that's going to make it for an interesting squabble over those particular honours. We've seen some good racing so far.
Oh, we have. Considering we've only got a couple of retirements, and really, I'm still on the same page at the moment for race control of messages, and that's a good sign considering 33 drivers started this race. You don't get too many leagues around the planet where you have such nice wheel-to-wheel clean racing.
Gucci Ito, after these incident earlier with Nathan Rosso as we join the race, albeit a few laps down. There is Scott Haddock being passed by Richard Van Veen, but he runs into him. That was too aggressive, and I'm surprised he didn't really punch him off the racetrack there, although it is Nathan Rosso who ran into the back of Scott Haddock, sorry. He was the one that ran into the back of him. Oh, that's contact there. That would have been with Matthew Gracie, and that was a little naughty there from Gracie. Thankfully, Rosso kept it out of the wall. And all of this is played into the hands of Clark Williams and Eddie Amos and Nurkus. Now they're in the fight for his 16th position. We see more gravel being kicked up. And down the inside goes Matthew Gracie. And that is Denny Cornu, who's got the two Turkish iRacing Formula Team drivers behind of Ayan and Taski. Fessi is just waiting in the wings in case anything crops up as Rosso comes into the pit lane with damage, and that's his race effectively compromised.
Yeah, so I wonder if the French drivers could be working here together, because you've got Fessi currently just behind, and then there's a turkey sandwich in the middle here, and then you've got Dennis up here. So on the radio, it's Fessi saying in French, slow him down, bring him into play here so I can attack him. Who knows?
Cornu 9th, Ayan Taski 11th, and Fessi in 12th. All in your picture. And the closest battle further ahead of them, it has to be between Andy Flint and Robert Ridgway. Robert Ridgway about 8 tenths off him, so that's not really a battle to be focusing on. This is the closest battle we've got on circuit.
Yeah, that's a lot of drivers like that. So at the end of the day, we say, okay, unfortunately, when we get to show you much on the camera, but some drivers are like, that's perfectly fine by me. That means it's a nice, clean race, and there was no dramas that unfolded for me that you needed to point the camera at.
The Aberdeen's posted his personal best lap of the race on that last lap. Yeah, he can use that to good effect and get through on Brent Ruiz before the end of the race. Well, Ian will want to get by Denny Cornu soon enough here and go after Tony Jimenez. He's got the outside line, but it's Cornu who has the inside line for the corner, and Ian isn't able to respond through turn 2.
Oh, not yet.
Fessi is through on Tusky, but not for long, because Tusky is fighting back, teeth of a nail. Fessi through at turn 4 on the Turkish iRacing Formula Team driver, but yet again, Tusky is able to retaliate.
Yeah, but that's not a good entrance to the corner, actually, for both the drivers to throw Fessi off. He's going to have to lift off big time here. Exactly, he has to force himself running wide. That's the only problem when you get into the slipstream as well, too, flying out through the corners, and also trying to look at putting the pressure at the moment on Taski, who's holding the pressure quite good. Fessi did get his nose in ahead just for a little bit here. Taski shut the door on him, and he's going to have to re-rack and restack him and do it all over again. Looks like, also, just quickly, Santos May, even though he has come back out on track, has been another excursion off now. He's way up the road here to suspect that it wasn't contact of anybody. And the kitty litter, and that's into the barrier on the opposite side. Seen that a couple of times today, haven't we?
Yep. Not for the first time tonight, he has done that. He is back into pit lane, and so is Justin Fields. He's gone no further either. Kuchi Ito is the last of those running, albeit he's a lap down on everybody, as Fessi sails past Tusky on the pit straight for 11th position.
Let's show you how that fantastic overtake. Long pit straight down here, which is the reason why they get inside, tucked in that gearbox of a slipstream, and it is very, very difficult to defend against. Now he's just got to navigate the rest of the way around there, but he has cleared a bit of air there as Tusky drops back 2 places now, and into the clutches actually of the other Ridgeway Racing driver there, Scott Taylor from Team UK. He's got the only other
12 laps.
Team UK. It's Brad up the road there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, 12 laps to go in Mugello. Scott Taylor, running in 13th position, is the newest challenger in this particular battle, on the tail of Mehmet Tusky through Arabiata 2. And it looks like Mona Gabriel has dropped down. He might have had a connection issue or something. We'll find out exactly on the replay what's happened to the man who's competing in this home round. Believe it or not, has ended up in some form of issue.
It says it's got a track, but it might just be a Oh, there it is.
Been into the gravel.
Yeah. And I think he's beached it, or he's actually towed it. Well,
I'm surprised he didn't just carry on.
Tifosi won't be too excited to see that.
Brilliant battle again. This is Clark Williams, Eddie Amos, and Matthew Gracie. And I think Amos is looking to the outside here if he can make it work. Well, he is making it work. He just needs to get all the traction he needs on the exit of Bachin. And side by side through there. And I think Amos is going to have the advantage with the slipstream from Gracie's car. And Williams is going to have to tuck in behind.
Would it be a late surge there? No. I would imagine just get yourself back onto the racing line, pick your braking point, get yourself a nice clean exit. And you can defend yourself for attacks. Up 8 places is the Welsh driver, Eddie Amos.
John McKenzie not too far behind these three. And we'll just want to make sure they get to the end of this one. Clark Williams, as far his season is concerned, looking at his previous results, his best finish has been
a slide from Amos.
Amos sliding wide. And looking at Clark Williams' results, Williams' best result so far this season has been 13th at the opening rounds in Okayama. He's running in 18th right now in this, compared to Eddie Amos's running results. He's competed in 7 of the rounds. His best result has been in P10 in Portsmouth. So very nice to see Amos doing well here again.
That's a good apex there from Clark Williams. Gets back onto the racing line there. Cuts through the chicanes. Good driving at the moment. Eddie Amos also. The fastest lap was just set by a race leader as well too, so adding a little salt into the wounds for the rest of the field there. Hitting a 36.61 on the dial. These drivers you currently give me an indication of that. These drivers that you're currently looking at, their last laps, late 37s to early 38s. Oh!
Eddie Amos
And there's a big battle up here. Oh! Lee, the championship leader, is into the fence. He's had contact with somebody, it looks like. Meatball flags.
That's because Brent Reed's had a slowdown and couldn't stop running into Aberdeen's car. Now Aberdeen's trying to get that car back to the pit lane.
Yep,
so Brent Reed runs wide, he spins and takes out Aberdeen. He takes him with him.
Bang! Yeah. Oh, that is so unfortunate. It's no fault of Brett's, obviously, but nothing that Lee Aberdeen could do too on that one. He's just going to come to the scene of the crime here, and he's not going to be happy to see it.
Ugh.
Wow.
That's really unfortunate.
Well, he's going to see if he can somehow drive that one home, mate. It's not going to be easy, but that's an Aussie spirit here for you. Come on, Lee. Now, how far does he have to go? He's got, he's got quite a bit to go. I mean, he's got one more sector to go. See, and he's actually, believe it or not, still in P14. He's going to have a gaggle of cars come past him in a minute. Lucky for the tether, he might be trying to cut through the infield here. He's going to absolutely try it, bub.
This is good news for Tony Jimenez in the championship race as well. He's running in P6. And he's on the tail of Alexei Yukic, who's moved up into 5th place. Aberdeen, he's entering the last corner now. He'll get into pit lane and get that car repaired. But it's going to be effectively a test session for the championship leader, Lee Aberdeen. No fault of his own. Racing incident involving him and Brent Rees, who is also out of the race.
Yeah, it just secures more of our race, of our rally. So Johan could just kind of really just back off at this point now with a 9-second gap with 9 laps to go. He should be good, but this is going to be important here as well too, because Tony Jimenez knows, okay, well, my main championship rival here is practically not out, but way down in the field. How much battling is he going to be doing here to keep this man behind him? Which he has to keep this man behind him because he's also got Ayon the Turkish driver, also too far down the road from this man. So that's, once I get into that slipstream, it becomes very difficult to defend.
Cornu on the rear of Jimenez down the pit straight. No, Jimenez just won't want to take too many risks now. He knows that Aberdeen is well and truly down the order. And he'll want to try and keep Cornu back for as long as possible. He's brought Simon Fessi with him. Oh, beheading Ayan, sorry, not Fessi. Ayan is also with Cornu on the tail of Jimenez, and you can just see that Jimenez has dropped back now from Yukish. He's focused his attentions on keeping the Unity Racing driver and the Turkish iRacing Formula team driver back.
Yeah, just wondering how much of a fight this is going to be here, of course, that you're going to see on your screen. I'd be just curious if Tony's going to just not let him through here and make that number one car as wide as possible. Of course, a sporting number one car because he's the previous champion from last season. At the moment, be looking pretty happy that he's going to be securing some points. But, whoa, we got more drama at the moment up the road there. Andy Maverick is off. So there's going to be even more good news there for the Spaniard.
Andy Flint off the circuit. Now, did he lose any positions by going off the track? We'll see what...
I think he was in P3, and Robert Ridgway's now up in a P3.
Just go too much speed. Yeah, and round he goes, and Robert Ridgway moving ahead of him into the final podium position. It's all kicking off in Mugello after what's not been the most hectic race in all honesty. It has been rather stable, but following the instance with Brent Maurice, Lee Aberdeen, and now Andy Flint, it's opened things up a little bit, not just in this race, but in the championship battle.
And Tom, yeah, it seems to me that number 3 has been unlucky this evening for drivers as well too. The third and fourth places we've just seen before. Of course, a bit of drama this evening. At the moment, currently, Robert Ridgway is in that unlucky spot in this race. Lucky for the fact that he get a podium if he can bring it home. Unlucky for the fact that drivers in the P3 position this evening have been having dilemmas. There's huge action going on back here as well too, with Clark Williams, John McKenzie, and Eddie Amos.
Richard Van Veen also in there. Eddie Amos took to the curb heavily, and that forced McKenzie to take evasive action. McKenzie losing out in that. Lee Aberdeen is on the tail of Kai Sarami for 25th position. This may be as high as he's going to end up by the end of this race. Tony Jimenez were looking in 6th place ahead of Denny Cornu. They're also catching up to Andy Flint, who has got Alexei Yukic for company, and Johan Nanette has posted another new fast up of the race.
He's not slowing down, is he? He can afford to, but 9-second gap, but he's comfortable.
If we could see him more often in this championship, he'll be another contender to fight out with the likes of Lee Aberdeen, Tony Jimenez and that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be a full-time driver perhaps next season, and certainly would be bringing it to the likes of... Well, that's going to be a late send if you're sitting up ahead, Dennis, but sometimes you play these little psychological games with the drivers. You force Tony to mirror drive there, so he's probably thinking, hey, you're going to be doing that, and forces him off his racing line. But then again, Tony Jimenez is a wise old fox, my friend. You don't win championships by getting those poker faces from the drivers.
Lee Aberdeen's got by Sarami now. He's also posted his personal best up of the race. In relation to the championship, if Lee Aberdeen was to finish where he is at, he would collect 19 championship points. Jimenez running in 6th position would be gaining 38, so it would be a reduction of 19 points as we speak. And we see Cornu go to the outside, runs out wide there by Jimenez, who holds on. Jimenez won't want to jeopardise this now. It's very rare we see Lee Aberdeen getting involved in such a mess like we just saw earlier on. And looking at the gap in the championship was 28 points. It's now going to be cut down to 9 as it stands.
So the switch back over here, but compromising the exit speed here. No, not quite enough. from Dennis, but he'll get the slipstream here. Now, where will Tony go? Tony's just going to stay completely here. He won't be able to go left now, because that's exactly what Dennis has done. And he'll move over slightly there. Not too much movement, my friend, and under braking. Parks it in the middle of the track. Goes to indicate quite there that clearly Jimenez is ready to defend this number P6 position.
A brilliant defensive drive from Teo Jimenez. Not up as high as he would have liked to have been. But at the moment, it's looking good for 6th place if he can just hold on. It's unlikely he's going to go after Alexei Yukic, who's another 3 seconds up the road from him. 5 laps to go in Mugello. And it's just going to be damage limitation time for Lee Aberdeen, who's 10 seconds off Patrick Rollins. I don't know if he's going to make up that amount of time in 5 laps, but we'll see soon enough.
Yeah,
Through the hairpin of Corinto.
Pressure at the moment on him, but we'll go back up to this one because a little bit of breathing space at the moment up the road here, but Fessie's putting some pressure on there. Taski's back putting pressure on Fessie.
I'll tell you something, Lee Aberdeen is on the tail of Johan and Annette. If we said that 10 laps ago, that would have been the battle for the lead. Sadly for Aberdeen, he's a lap down on Johan Annette. They are just going through a turn. Can't see whereabouts on the circuit they are, but he's right with him. If he's close enough, he might try and get back on the lead lap. And if Johan Annette feels that that's not his race, well, at least he can just let him go and let him get on with his own job. As we see Taski and Cornu tossing it out again, or Fessie rather. Yeah, this battle hasn't been dying away since the start, has it?
No, that's fantastic. It's good to see that there are some battles. We'd love to have the battles right up the front, of course, but unfortunately this is not the situation, just not the way that this race has panned out. It's certainly been exciting around these positions of late, and also it looks like John McKenzie and Matthew Gracie is also having a nice little squabble there for 16th and 17th. You've got to remember too, this race is not over. There's still 4 laps to go. Even if Johan has a commanding lead, you got to remember there's cars are pretty much spread out all over the racing track. So if somebody gets in an incident, and you just saw unfortunately what happened to Lee Aberdeen before, when somebody did have an incident and came back on the track and unfortunately destroyed his chances of getting a good result in this race. It can happen to anybody on the track at any time. You just be at the wrong place at the wrong time, as they say.
Fessie in 9th place as Ian runs wide a little bit on the exit of Corinto. Now Biondetti. It's Bachin. That is the last turn before the lap is out. And Mehmet Tuski in 10th place. Just waiting for another opportunity. Maybe even wait until the last lap to then go for it. Along this long pit straight of Mugello. It's the former home of the Tuscan Grand Prix for Formula 1 in 2020. And now we are looking at Fessie making his way through. One of the Turkish drivers, but he's just going too far at wide, just not able to slow the car down in time to keep hold of that position.
I'm just wondering if the Turkish drivers were clever enough to pull off that manoeuvre there, where you can block the driver and allow the other Taski through. It's a difficult manoeuvre to pull off. It does frustrate the drivers. You're at risk of actually getting into each other, essentially as teammates, but if you pull it off there, you can actually get yourself a nice 2-for-1 special there and try to push Fessie at the back here. But don't know what the drivers are planning on doing. Certainly one thing, they're most likely will be communicating to each other as they're race driving and formulating a strategy between the two there, so they can get themselves potentially at this point in the race there a target. If they can get up the road there to Dennis, would be the target for P7.
The Aberdeen is less than 4 seconds off Patrick Rowlands, and that could be another position gained before this race is over. 2 laps to go for the race leader, Johan Annette, who's not far away from his first win.
Fessie through! Wow.
Great overtake from Simon Fessie, but how much is that going to give the toe to Bahidin Ayan and possibly Mehmet Taski? He'll be wanting to stay in touch with these.
Insert Jaws theme music. Boom, 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 boom.
Through goes Ian, fighting back, but it's Fessy who'll have the inside line for Santanata this time around. And that's good enough for the Frenchman to finally get through into P8. Position that he should be able to hold on until the checker flag.
Yeah, look at that. Actually got a good bit of a commanding gap now at the moment. It might be enough to break that slipstream, which is what he's going to be happy to see. Are there going to be a switcheroo between the teammates here at the moment? It'll be a little day late, dollar short if they want to go. Okay, you go up there and catch the Frenchman now. Catch the French duo, actually, because Dennis is up in a P7 now, so 7th and 8th are commanded by the French drivers at the moment. Tasky is going to have a good run here. I don't know if there's 2 orders between the 2 drivers, do we? But certainly give us a bit of best
soon enough. Well, Tasky's got every chance to go for it on Ian on the pit straight the next time they come around. Johan Annette has started the final lap of the race. He's got Patrick Rowlands and Leo Aberdeen a lap behind him, who are squabbling over place there. So Aberdeen's only got 1 lap to get by Patrick Rowlands before the checker flag for 24th position, just to gain that extra championship point towards the title.
Yeah.
And Tony Jimenez is still in 6th position.
I wonder if the Kiwi there of Patrick's is going to be like, you know what, seeing we're neighbours, I'll let you through there, Lee, and get some extra points. Who knows? I mean, Patrick obviously doesn't have to do that, but it's potentially. And it looks like Tasky does get past really quickly, maybe on his teammate. We'll switch away to our race leader in a second. We'll just see how this kind of pans itself out between the 2 drivers. And I'd say at the moment, Tasky's going to have to settle behind Jan for that now. After
I think that was a very firm message that I'm shutting the door. That'll be what Hendon Ian would have been thinking about and saying to him. But there we see Johan Annette on his way to his first win in this series, and what a stunning drive it's been from pole position. Thoroughly deserved it. 13 seconds ahead of his nearest challenger, Brad Fulliger, who have little to talk about. He's done a superb job to get up into 2nd place. Lee Aberdeen doing his best to try and get through on Patrick Rowlands, but I think he's going to run out of time to get that extra point. Johan Annette, every single lap of the race from pole position, wins in Mugello in the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League. A brilliant victory for him. Brad Fulliger heads over the line in 2nd place, over 3 seconds clear of Robert Ridgway, who gets his first podium of the season. And we go to Andy Flint, coming home in 4th place despite that spin at the hairpin of Corinthau. Alexei Yukish also finishing strongly, and it's Tommy Jimenez who closes down the championship gap to Lee Aberdeen by coming home in 6th place. It's Denny Cornu, Simon Fessy, Bahindin Ayan, and Mehmet Tasky trying to beat him to the line. Just misses out by just over 100th of a second.
Could have another
and waiting for the rest to finish. We've got a battle actually between Clark Williams and John McKenzie. Battle of the Brits going into a squabble for the final, well, for an extra championship point basically. McKenzie, I think he's going to beat Clark Williams to the line here. Over the line they come. He beats him. He beats him by the narrowest of margins. A great job from John McKenzie. We look at those on the lead, that finishing Lee Aberdeen only 25th today, 19 championship points he gets. Jimenez gets 38. So the gap is now down to 9 points in the race for the title.
Yeah, good day. Well, I mean, just got to be in it to win it, don't you? And you'd have to say from Jimenez, you're probably wondering what would have been if he can get himself a little bit further up and on the qualifying position. They would have been able to capitalise a little bit more on some points. But it is what it is. An unfortunate day, obviously, from Lee. Mr. Consistency. Well, he was consistent. It was just at this point around, just unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time.
If we've got any more drivers that are meant to be finishing, every driver has finished now, thankfully.
Yes, sir.
And we can run down on the race result here in Mugello. Johan Annette takes the win, and it's Brad Fulliger in 2nd place, Robert Ridgway 3rd, ahead of Andy Flynn. Alexei Yukic in 5th ahead of Tony Jimenez, with Denny Cornu, Simon Fessy, Bahindan Ayan and Mehmet Taski running out the top 10. Scott Taylor 11th, followed by Scott Haddock. We've got Richard Van Veen, Eddie Amos finishing a respectable 14th position. A good job from him ahead of John McKenzie and Clark Williams. And it's Julio Palacio in 17th spot, Ben Goya in 18th, Matthew Gracie 19th, and Kevin Strumstra recovering to 20th position. Adam Telsma in 21st place, and it's Paul Distelli in 22nd. We're ahead of Dorian Arroyo. Patrick Rowlands finishing by the narrowest of margins over Lee Aberdeen, who was 25th. His worst result of the season by far, outside the top 2 for the first time this campaign. Kai Sarami and Kuchi Ito were the last of those to finish. Kuchi Ito was a lap down. We also lost Nathan Rosso, Brent Ruiz, Simone Gabriel, Jimmy DeSantos, Justin Fields, and Stefan Dodderer.
Yes, sir.
A good race all round with an unexpected result, it has to be said, but the talking point has to be the incident involving Brent Ruiz and Lee Aberdeen. And that has opened things up in the championship a little bit, with Tony Jimenez narrowing down the gap to 9 points with 3 races left. The next round being, if I get the result, the calendar up, the next round being in Barcelona. So that could be another crucial one for the home hero, Tony Jimenez.
And we'd like to obviously to thank everybody for tuning in, as always. And it'll be definitely getting spicier and spicier as we get deeper and deeper. With only a few more rounds remaining in the championship. Final words there, Tom.
Yeah, a great win for Johan Annette. He thoroughly deserved it. Didn't have a lot to do, and there was a big margin he made up. And will we see more of that in the coming weeks? We'll see soon enough. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. You can keep right up to date with all the leagues that have been broadcast on this channel, so you won't miss a thing. It's time to sign off. We'll do it all again in Barcelona in 7 days' time. I am Tom Cairns with Dean Biggles, and we'll speak to you again soon when the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League returns.